Welcome back to another B6-player video. Today, we are breaking down the advanced analytics and the overall story of the first-round series between Buffalo and Boston. The Buffalo Sabres entered the first round of the 2026 playoffs as clear favorites and remained so throughout the series. But this time, the data truly matched the result. The Boston Bruins, historically one of the most stable organizations in the NHL, were outmatched both physically and procedurally by this transformed Buffalo squad. The series ended 4-2 in favor of Buffalo, leaving little room for doubt. The Sabres played better, generated more, and converted more efficiently. The paradox of the series is more subtle. Boston dominated the faceoff circle, 56.2%, and led in hits and takeaways, yet failed to turn physical dominance into goals. Buffalo proved that modern hockey isn't won by bodywork, but by puck management in the offensive zone. Series context. The series spanned 6 games with alternating home ice advantage. Buffalo hosted G1, G2, and G5, while Boston hosted G3, G4, and G6. Nevertheless, Buffalo won both away games in Boston, 3-1 and 6-1. Clearly showing that results were driven by quality of play rather than environment. The dataset covers the full spectrum of advanced analytics, from X-goals and danger zones to physical metrics, allowing us to deconstruct why the series ended as it did. The core thesis: Buffalo was procedurally superior, better at finishing, and better in net. Shot volume and types. Shot volume is the primary evidence of Buffalo's dominance. The Sabres put 189 shots on goal compared to Boston's 151, with a total Corsi differential of 408:334. Buffalo generated 22% more attempts. However, the number 113 is also key. That's how many times BUF missed the net, compared to 87 for Boston. In the playoffs, shooting accuracy is usually a vital variable, but Buffalo could afford a higher miss rate due to sheer volume. They generated so many attempts that even with lower accuracy, they remained more dangerous. Boston blocked 106 Buffalo attempts, significantly more than Buffalo's 96 blocks. The Bruins' defensive shot blocking was one of the few areas where they stayed competitive. Goals and shot danger zones. Danger zones reveal the most interesting dimension of the series. Buffalo had more shots in all 3 zones, 224 low, 59 medium, 19 high, yet the story is nuanced. From the high danger zone, Buffalo converted 6 out of 19 attempts, 31.6%, while Boston converted only 2 out of 18, 11.1%. This was the sharpest performance gap. Conversely, Boston excelled in the medium danger zone, 6 goals from 36 shots, 16.7%, was their strength, whereas Buffalo was less efficient there. Low danger goals were merely a bonus layer for both sides. Buffalo scored 9, Boston 4. Conclusion: Buffalo dominated in volume and quality, but Boston could convert opportunities that statistically don't look dangerous. Expected goals per game. X-goals are the strongest predictor of performance in hockey, and in this series they speak clearly. Buffalo generated a total of 21.46 xG, while Boston generated only 16.08 xG. A crucial discovery emerges when comparing these to actual goals. Buffalo scored 20, minus 1.46 below xG, while Boston scored only 12, minus 4.08 below xG. While Buffalo slightly underperformed their model, Boston fell dramatically short of expectations. The exception was G1, where Boston won 3-2 despite a very weak performance. Their xG was just 1.87. On the other hand, G4 was the clearest expression of Buffalo's superiority. 4.22 xG versus 2.00 for BOS and a 6-1 scoreline. Throughout the series, BOS found no way to translate their expected numbers into real goals. Rebounds and goaltending. Alex Lyon, who took over for Buffalo from Game 3 after Luukkonen's departure in G2, finished the series with a 92.1% save percentage on shots on goal. Jeremy Swayman, on the other hand, stopped 89.4% of shots, a solid number, but not enough in a series where the opponent shot so frequently. A 2.7 percentage point difference in save percentage over 6 games and 340 shots on goal inevitably results in a higher number of goals conceded. Rebounds painted an interesting picture. Buffalo generated 22 rebounds, Boston only 17. Sabres' shots stayed in front of Swayman more often. However, Buffalo only converted 1 goal from rebounds, while Boston converted 2. Swayman's team was better at reading and eliminating second-chance opportunities. Physical play, face-offs, and discipline. The physical game belonged to Boston without question. The Bruins delivered 233 hits compared to Buffalo's 198 harder. More physical play was in their DNA. Boston dominated face-offs 200:156, a 56.2% face-off percentage, meaning Boston could start with the puck after almost every whistle. Yet, Boston's physical and positional advantage did not translate into goals. Why? Because Buffalo didn't need the puck at the start of the play. They needed it in the offensive zone, where they regained it through pressure and BOS errors. Discipline played a role. Boston took 5 more penalty minutes, 36 versus 31, which Buffalo used to apply pressure on the power play. In the playoffs, every power play is a potential series changer. Puck control and game tempo. Puck control shows the series through 2 contrasting lenses. Buffalo spent significantly more action time in the offensive zone, 120 post-shot zone continuations versus 101 for BOS, and turned the puck over less, 92 giveaways versus 105 for Boston. However, Boston was better at taking the puck away, 28 takeaways versus 22 for Buffalo. Boston played a transition-based game. Despite less zone dominance, they tried to quickly convert takeaways into counterattacks. Clearance statistics, BOS 84 versus BUF 79, show that the Bruins moved the puck out of the defensive zone more effectively, but Buffalo was so active that Boston struggled to transition into the attack with full firepower. Full statistics overview. The overview table confirms what the individual slides suggested. Buffalo led in 11 out of 14 tracked categories. Boston only held the advantage in faceoffs, hits, and discipline, fewer penalties. 3 physical metrics that weren't enough against a procedurally stronger opponent. The most glaring numbers are in goal efficiency. Buffalo scored 75% of high-danger goals, 6-2, 69% of low-danger goals, 9-4, and overall 62.5% of all goals in the series. The only area where Boston outpaced Buffalo was medium-danger goals. And even there, the difference was only 6:5 in favor of BOS. Conclusion. The Buffalo versus Boston series is a rare example where procedural and results-based dominance go hand in hand. Buffalo didn't just play better. They also backed up their procedural superiority with Lyon's performance in net, 92.1% save percent. Boston relied on a physical style, face-off pressure, and Swayman's performance. But even with solid stats, Swayman couldn't withstand 189 shots and 21.46 xG. The lesson from this series for playoff hockey: face-off dominance and physical aggression are valuable, but they aren't enough on their own if the opponent can generate more and more dangerous shots, regardless of who picks up the puck after the draw. Buffalo enters the second round as a convincing winner, both analytically and on the scoreboard. And that's it for today's analysis of the Buffalo versus Boston series. Thank you so much for watching and for sticking with us here at B6 Player. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the numbers, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming coverage of the second round. See you in the next video.